Orpheus was a famous musician and poet in Greek mythology who was deeply in love with his wife, Eurydic. However, an unfortunate accident led to Eurydice being bitten by a snake and unfortunately dying. Grief-stricken, Orpheus decides to make an unprecedented attempt to travel to the underworld to find Eurydice's soul. Orfeus' music has incredible magic, and his sound can move not only mountains and rivers, but also the gods of the underworld. He took his magic harp and entered the dark abyss of the underworld. There, the sound of his lyre warmed the cold air, moving even the dead in the underworld. Eventually, Hades and Titania were moved by his music and decided to allow Eurydice to return to the underworld, but they put forward one condition. In the process of leaving the underworld, Orpheus could not look back at Eurydice until the two returned safely to the underworld. Orpheus agreed to this and began his journey back to the sun with Eurydic. They made their way down the dark passageway, Orpheus expectant and nervous, and Eurydice quietly following him. Just as they were about to leave the underworld, Orpheus looked back in fear, but this turn turned into a farewell. The image of Eurydice gradually dissipates into the darkness, and her soul is pulled back into the depths of the underworld once again. Orpheus lost Eurydic, and his heart was devastated. He returned to the young world alone, spending the rest of his life in grief and pain, and continued to express his deep longing for Eurydice with his piano until the end of his life. Upon his return, Orpheus became even more withdrawn, and his music was filled with deep melancholy that touched the heartstrings of every listener. He often played in the middle of the night, against the bright starry sky, as if he was talking to Eurydice's soul. In Orpheus' story, he not only suffers the loss of love, but also faces the challenge of insurmountable fate. His life, though full of sadness and loss, also shows a deep attachment to love and the extraordinary power of music. Orpheus' story has been the inspiration for many works of art in later generations, and his name and the sound of his piano have reverberated throughout history.